All right, we are live again with Tuesday Motivation and Conversation with Mr. Jamal Bazio.
Good evening, everybody. Excited, always excited for
We
these
are back
conversations.
in the house. Yes, we are back in the house. I hope you guys have had a good week. Give you guys a minute to gather and get in the room. Come on in and join us. We're opening our chat so that we can kind of keep an eye on things. We're going to take a little turn on um, how we're going to flow on tonight. And of course, we definitely want to give an opportunity for folks to join us tonight because we definitely want your engagement and your feedback. It has been an amazing 2 weeks. Can you believe this is the third week,
Yes,
Jamal? We're already
three
into the
weeks.
third session, and
Yes,
it has been phenomenal. It's been some good conversation, very organic.
yes, ma'am.
Um, a lot of people, of course, this is late for some people, but for us
Mm,
night owls, of course, it's
it's a
we're
regular
just getting
day.
started. Yeah, we're just getting started, right? So some people are, they're winding down or already
All right.
asleep. So a lot of people come back
Mm,
and watch the replay. But for those of you that are joining us live, good evening, good evening. Thank you so much. What we're going to ask you to do before we get started, number one, just share the link. Just take a
sure, sure.
second. It only takes a second and just share the link. A lot of people may forget or wanted to tune in. I've had people saying, I want to do it live. I want to be on live. So I just shared a post just to make sure. Hey Tiffany, thank you for being with us. Look, you are ride or die. You hanging with us. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. And so take a moment and share the link really quickly and invite someone else to the conversation. Listen, we got to have you all engaged tonight. This is going to be good.
Uh,
Good with a T. It's going to be good.
this
And
one
so
should
we
be
need
interesting.
your engagement. Yeah, this one's going to be interesting. And so we definitely want you to share the link, text it to somebody, share it on your Facebook page, share it with somebody, but send the link to someone right now. And so if you can do that for us, that would be amazing.
So
So yeah, Jamal.
I did want to say, you mentioned this being the third week.
Yeah.
What I really enjoyed after sitting and talking, and of course we have our behind the scenes conversations,
Yeah, we have our
is
afterglow conversations.
I really enjoy having, like you said, very organic conversations about real life things, right? So a
Yeah,
lot of times when people talk about relationship, there's always these polished answers.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and the thing about relationships, they're so complex. It's the hardest equation to try to understand, balance, and solve, right? So I do appreciate just the back and forth banter, the questions, the comments, and have real conversations, talk about what people are really dealing with, not this
absolutely.
rehearsed textbook
Absolutely.
type
Yeah,
conversation. So
yeah. Yeah,
I
this
love
is
it.
this is this
I
is real
love it.
stuff. This is real stuff. So I think tonight is going to really give us an opportunity to take our conversation a little bit of a different turn because well, I don't want to spoil it. So this is what we're doing. So I was trying to get you all to go ahead and look, share it, get your people on, get them on, because I'm telling you, this is going to be a little controversial.
This one's gonna be spicy.
This was going to be a little controversial tonight. So get your people on, share. Let them know we're live and tell them it's hot. We on the wire. So we're going to start tonight. Jamal's going to share an excerpt. If you have not purchased his project already, you want to do that. Number one, you ready, Ren?
I'm ready.
Listen, if you
Yeah.
haven't purchased his project, then I don't think this one is a part of the gift that you get with your pre-order, but all of it's good. But this one right here, oh my God. So you're gonna want to listen intently, right? You're gonna want to listen intently because he's only gonna read it one time. So if you got pen and paper nearby, you might want to jot you some notes. So I'm gonna say, Jamal, don't do like I do. Don't go too fast.
Right, right.
Give it some pauses so everybody can kind of.
Got you.
Tiffany said, "Come through, spicy."
So is my sound good? I want to make because
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
I have to kind
Yeah,
of
your
turn to
sound
read.
sound is good. I was trying
So
to set you up, Jamal. Just trying to set you up. So
yeah.
I'm giving them a chance to get their pen and paper so they can jot little notes. And so I want you to pace yourself,
Yes,
right?
ma'am. I
Pace
got you.
yourself. Don't go too fast because we don't want anybody to miss anything. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, because this is going to be the launch of the conversation tonight. Because yeah, this is going to be the launch of Pat. So, Mr. Jamal, it's on
Yes,
you,
ma'am.
sir. Let's have it.
If I am gone. If I am gone, I do not wish for a song. Although oftentimes a song can say what pain stifles. If I am removed, do not first attempt to soothe without addressing that which made what was intimate estranged. If I become mute and my tongue ceases to trust, no longer astute, whilst my heart is engorged and weighted and restrained. If I become catatonic, devoid of spark or flame, a living relic, despite proximity to familiar catalyst and muse, if I am not enhungered for life and the purpose afforded, despite favor and blessings in abundance, if I am muffled, ensnared just below the surface, internally imprisoned, as screams for escape are thwarted by this abyss, if I am desperate, craving consideration amidst this looming threat, awaiting the substance to satiate this expanding cavity, if I am fossilized, a disparaging imitation of that once prized, languishing about in kingly robes. If you are the architect of these, then know that I am a man, and that you hold a piece of my heart and have been given access where few have tread. Know that I have been taught for centuries to suffer in silence. Know that my tears and screams are mummified by the wrappings you tailored and demanded that I wear in order to be who you demanded me to be. Know that I am confused when you tell me to speak whilst you hold my tongue. Know that it is not enough to say that I am now free. Mental and emotional chains are more difficult to dispel. Please, my fair lady, walk me out of this entrapment. If I am gone, it is because of you.
Whoa. All right, people. Okay, y'all shocked. I don't see no comments in the chat. I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing in the chat. Okay. So this is the question I have for those of you who are engaged tonight. Is this poem talking about present, past, or deceased? Rian said, "Whoo, yeah, that was powerful."
Thank you, man. Tiffy.
Yeah, y'all take a second. Take a second. Should he read it again? What say you? Do you need him to read it again?
We are a
Well,
little delayed. I can
yeah,
see.
we're waiting for their response.
I imagine seeing the ellipses. That's what I see in my
Yeah,
head. Yeah.
this is like, yeah.
I would love for some guys to weigh in on this. I would love.
Okay, so Rena's saying read it
Read
once
it
more.
again.
It was, yeah, it was short. It was pretty short. So, but powerful. So yeah, let's have it again.
If I am gone. If I am gone, I do not wish for a song, although oftentimes a song can say what pain stifles. If I am removed, do not first attempt to soothe without addressing that which made what was intimate estranged. If I become mute and my and my tongue ceases to trust, no longer astute, whilst my heart is engorged and weighted and restrained, if I become catatonic, devoid of spark or flame, a living relic, despite proximity to familiar catalyst and muse, if I am not an hungered for life and the purpose afforded, despite favor and blessings in abundance, if I am muffled, ensnared just below the surface, internally imprisoned as screams for escape are thwarted by this abyss, if I am desperate, craving consideration amidst this looming threat, awaiting the substance to satiate this expanding cavity, if I am fossilized, a disparaging imitation of that once prized, languishing about in kingly robes. If you are the architect of these, then know that I am a man, and that you hold a piece of my heart and have been given access where few have tread. Know that I have been taught for centuries to suffer in silence. Know that my tears and screams are mummified by the wrappings you tailored and demanded that I wear in order to be who you demanded me to be. Know that I am confused when you tell me to speak whilst you hold my tongue. Know that it is not enough to say that I am now free. Mental and emotional chains are more difficult to dispel. Please, my fair lady, walk me out of this entrapment. If I am gone, it is because of you.
All right, now it's more than Tiffany and Ren on here, so I need you all to speak up. This is a conversation. So again, I asked the question, when you hear the content, no, I'm asking, is the poem talking about someone that uh, is no longer present, past, or could it be about someone that, could it be about someone deceased, or could it be, from that angle? Ceasing to trust and devoid of spark got me real. Okay. All right.
Jay Hunter.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
It's not deceased. So what's your perspective? Is this a past or present relationship? And I want you to think about what I'm asking. Is it a past relationship? Is it a present relationship? Or could it be both? This is good. This is good, good,
I
good.
love it.
Okay. So Ren says it sounds like a past relationship. Okay.
I love the word
Jay
really.
Hunter said, yeah, yeah, yeah. It says present about to
But
be
to be
past.
passed.
Oh,
That's rich.
or present going to pass. Okay, this is But this is good. Come on with it. Come on with it. So here again, we've had this conversation. So, oh my God, it's so much stuff in here. Um, seems like a present relationship that's deteriorating. Okay. Okay. This is good. This is good. So before I say what I'm about to say, Jamal,
Yes, ma'am.
what say you?
So this poem wasn't written about me. This poem was written for men. So this poem was written for every single man that has ever lived, that is living, and that will live. There are many men in relationships right now that are present, but they are long gone.
Mhm.
They have been stifled, they have been taught, they have been trained.
Let's
They
stop
have
right there.
been,
Let's stop right there for a second.
okay, because you know
So
I'm ready to.
yeah, but let's stop. Let's stop. Let's unpack it. Let's unpack it slow. So that's a key point. Being being a divorced woman, I was married for almost, we were together 20 years, married 18. This is the case more often than not in a lot of marriage situations. Okay. Because, and this is from experience. And when you said that line, and it can be on the it can be on the side of the woman or on the side of the man. But people leave relationships all the time and they're still with each other, they're still in the same home, they're in the relationship, but they're not, the relationship is no longer viable, right?
Exactly, Tiff.
Yep, just a shell. And that is such a good perspective and a good point because this is the case so often. And this is why we have been having these conversations because relationships require nurturing, they require maintenance, they require that we understand each other, we understand capacity. Because sometimes as women, we are asking, right? This line, there are two things. So the line about a song can say what pain stifles. Oftentimes, when men are listening to songs, they're trying to understand how to deal with the pain that we so sharply put them with our tongue because we said something. And later in the poem, it alludes to the fact that there's a trust that we have, especially as wives, that no other woman has, and we can say things that no one else can say, and we can cut so deep, and vice versa. But we can cut so deep that it's difficult to really, a lot of times for men to express themselves in with that type of hurt.
So right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
There is no one closer, no one in your life could ever be closer than your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
I
Absolutely.
mean, there's supposed to be total nakedness, right? Spiritually,
Absolutely.
emotionally, physically.
Vulnerability. Yes.
The problem is a lot of times, and yes, I'm gonna stick on this is a I'm gonna be speaking for the men here, right? A lot of
I'm for the
times,
women.
right. So a lot of times men aren't allowed, they don't feel comfortable enough to share. So I talked about the wrappings, right? The
Mm-hmm.
mummification of the man.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So we're expected to be tough, and why can't we cry?
Yeah.
Right? Well, we've been taught so long that you're weak if you cry. And
Yeah.
matter of fact, I know some women right now, because I went to a gala on Saturday for work, and relationships came up.
Okay.
One of the women, grown women, said, "I don't want no man that cries. That's a weak man."
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's men will do what women allow,
Mm-hmm.
and men will become what women accept. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're telling
True.
me a man crying is weak, guess what?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna put all that away. And now when we get married, oh, You're not communicating. You're not opening up. You're not emotional. Well, you told me to kill all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Mm-hmm.
when I do try to open up,
Mm-hmm.
you want it the way you want it. That's not reality.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Absolutely.
this poem, there's a lot in this poem. But I'm gonna let y'all read it.
Yeah. So we got, to your point, we have what's been taught, we have what's been caught, we have the environments that have caused us to embrace or uh, be conducive to, depending on, the circumstance and the situation. So there are several pieces and parts that make up, to your point, what. Well, let me add something else to that. And then as women, we've been taught based on our environment. Now, not every woman has the same, perspective or persona when it
Right.
comes to relationships. But if that man has been taught a particular thing, it doesn't matter how she's trying or how hard she tries, because that's how he's been taught. And so it requires patience and understanding to know that that is the perspective and that's the capacity and the culture of that particular area. So you have to work through this
Yes.
piece of communicating, and here
Yes.
again, opening up. See, so then that means, as women, we have to make it a safe place,
Yes.
right? A place of vulnerability, a safe place where, because it's all about trust for men, and it does. See, for us, we feel, infidelity, sex, all that, cheating, and all that is a huge thing because we're emotional beings. For women, for men, it's trust. You cannot, provide that place of trust for him, that he can trust you with his emotions, his vulnerability, and being able to share those innermost deep things.
Yes.
If he don't feel he can trust you with that, he can't trust you with the rest of it. The other part, that doesn't even matter.
And then this happens. He
So,
locks up.
yeah. So confirm that for me. Was I right or was
So
I right?
you're 100%. So I wanna jump on this, and it lines up to, I want, as Tiffany said, I want all of this. Uh, the line telling me to speak while holding the tongue,
Yeah.
right? Tiffany
Mm-hmm.
likes that one. And I harp on that, and you'll probably hear me say that a couple of times tonight about that. We want men to speak, and I'll give you an example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, uh, in a relationship with someone, and let's say it's like there's an argument or something. I can't believe you did that. And he's like, well, I did this because I don't want to hear your excuses. You don't even let the dude finish his statement.
Yeah.
So after a while, oh, back up. Tiffany already heard this. Real life example. I
Mm-hmm.
had a friend call me today. Couldn't answer because I'm at work. And in my job, I can't have a camera cell phone. So I get out, call her back. She didn't pick up. Then she called me back. I'm leaving basketball practice, worked with my kids. And she goes, hey, Jay, how was your day? Right. And I was like,
Mm-hmm.
ooh, today was one of them days. Like, I saw some stuff that went right. I was wrestling
Mm-hmm.
with it. And I, I'm not one to always share. I normally write it down, but I said, hey, grow yourself. So I started to share. Yeah, it was a
Mm-hmm.
little rough. And in the middle of me talking, she was like, oh, I know what you mean. Cause today this happened at work and did it. And she just went on this rant. So I was like,
Uh-huh.
let me drink that back. And I just sat there
Uh-huh.
on the phone for 30 minutes. Boom, 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 boom. Everything was about her.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat there and I was like, man, I don't even think she realizes she cut me off. So
Mm-hmm.
now I had to swallow all of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so holding someone's tongue, it's not a literal,
Mm-hmm.
it's the imagery, right? It's poetry. So you
Mm-hmm.
can you can
Mm-hmm.
spread
Mm-hmm.
that peanut butter when I don't even have the opportunity to speak, because
Mm-hmm.
everything is about you. And I want to get on this line here.
So this is good. Oh, Ren says this is good. You grieve before you ever verbalize it.
Yes.
So you grieve a relationship that you desire, or you grieve a feeling that you kind of require, but you're not getting. So there's so much that happens here. And
Mm.
I've said capacity every session, every
Capacity,
night.
capacity, capacity.
We have to understand. And so you already know that that was a lesson for me because I was trying to understand some pieces that really were not my fault.
Mm,
I was trying to understand, but I was trying to understand with what I had before me,
mm,
not realizing that it really didn't have a lot to do with what was before me and what I was tangibly dealing with in the physical. It had a lot to do with what had been cultivated and
yeah,
nurtured so many years
years
before
ago.
me, you know, relationships before me,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
And how men are just taught to contain and restrain and
All day.
suppress their feelings, right? And so in the event you get to that place where you're open and you want to be vulnerable, we have to learn if we have not been taught at that stage. And this requires true maturation to hold your tongue and allow. I have my baby son, 27, is like that.
Ma'am,
He
he's a
will
grown
he
man. You said baby.
well
He's
well,
27, ma'am.
when I say
I'm messing
anyway.
with you.
So, but he may go months and he doesn't have conversations. It's just kind of quick. But when he does call and say, well, hey mom, da 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 da, and if he starts to talk, I say nothing. I just let him talk
Mhm.
because whatever at that point, there's some frustration, there's a big that he needs an outlet.
Yes.
And it may be an hour and a half, or he may tell me about things that happened 3 months ago. Whatever he needs to get out, voice, frustrations, what I just let him talk. And I communicate as if we just talked yesterday.
Yeah.
But now I wasn't always like that because I had to learn what was happening.
Yeah.
And so it's the same way with people we're dating from a woman's perspective. Sons, husbands, and parenthetically, now let me say this, let me insert this. If you are a woman who has a boy child, a son, or whatever the case may be, you have to, the same way that you attend to and care for that son, you should do on the maximum level for that significant other, or especially for a spouse.
So it just looks different, right? And I've heard this example, and everybody is familiar, right? As a kid growing
Mhm.
up, you playing sports or whatever, and mom's like, look at mommy's big boy. And that little boy is flexing, like, yeah, my mom
Mhm.
is cheering me
Mhm.
on, da 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 da.
Mhm.
Guess what? The only thing that happened is puberty, and that dude got bigger.
That's
So I
all.
don't need you to say, look at your muscles, but to
Right.
say, hey baby, I
Affirmation.
really appreciate what you did there. Like, I really appreciate you
Mhm.
working with baby girl on her homework. Like, that
Mhm.
stuff fuels us.
Yes,
And once,
affirmations.
here's the thing about men, you keep fueling us, we're gonna figure out some other ways that we could keep getting this fuel, because I like this.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
need affirmation.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's how men are wired. It's just like we're emotional beings and we're wired a certain way. Men are wired a certain way as well. But this particular entry has so many different perspectives from which you can draw from it. It could
Yes,
be a
man.
present relationship, it could be a past relationship, it could be someone who um uh, it could be it could be a poem that really that's uh, read and the person's now deceased because some
Yeah.
people or deceased or the relationship itself has
Yes,
died,
died. Yeah.
right?
Yes, man.
So there's so many perspectives
Oh
here,
yes.
right?
Oh yes.
And
So
so we have to take responsibility, for like this line that says, this is the one we were talking about, I think I was alluding to, then know that I am a man. Well, if you are the architect of these, hiya, hiya, if you are the architect
architect.
of Do you know how sometimes I'll use this analogy? My dad used to say, my dad's rest his soul. He used to tell my brothers, I didn't really get whoopings. I saw them get enough. I was like, that ain't something I'm finna do. But he used to. They would do something, and so he wouldn't give them a whooping right then. He said, "Okay, I'm gonna put that one in the freezer." Right? It was building up to something.
Yeah. Mm.
Ladies, when we say things, we roll our neck, we say harsh things, or we
You
we say
you
something that
you snatch stuff out of
you're
the air.
you're building up. You're architecturally building up to this. If I'm gone, 'cause he on his way. He's either going out emotionally, or he's going out mentally, or he's going out physically. So we build up we build this structure for them to, for men to just go into and retreat, because we have to work on these conversations, and we have to work on relationships, and how we say what we say. Yes. Yes,
If
sir.
I
Yes,
may,
sir.
so you prompted something and it's right here. I'm gonna read this line again because this is one of my favorites in this. Every time I read it, it's something new. Um, where are we? If I am fossilized,
Ah.
a disparaging, first of all, fossilized, let's understand that word right there, right? If I am fossilized, I just lost it. If I'm fossilized, a disparaging imitation of that once prized, languishing
Mm.
about in kingly robes. So that man attracted you for some reason. The
Mhm.
muscles, the all this, the ambition, the intellect, the humor, the all
Mhm.
these things that was like you prized, that was like, wow, this is the guy.
Yeah.
You call your homegirl Sheila. Oh, hold on. Ran, Ran, you won't even believe like this dude is right. You called him. Tiffany, you won't believe, man, he is funny, he is this, he's that, right? Treat him like a king.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, though, we don't nurture, we don't support, women don't feed. So now the humor is gone. The
Mhm.
romance, he was so romantic. What he don't even hold my hand anymore. Well, is your hand holdable or do you have
Mhm.
boxing gloves on? Because you can't hold hands with boxing gloves on,
Whoa, 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 whoa,
right?
whoa.
So
Now this
now,
is now this is some, not all.
so I'm just saying some. I'm talking generically. I'm not saying all women are
So
like this, right? So
so that's why I'm inserting
yeah,
some, not all. So
just this is just to get you to think about where am I in my relationships? How am I
mhm.
dealing in my relationships, right? And so
Yeah.
we have this castle, this nice house you walk into, these nice cars, your man is dressed nice, probably because you picked out the outfit,
Mhm.
all that stuff, right? But it's a skeleton walking around your home because
Mhm.
he no longer has the drive to pursue the ambition because he's
Mhm.
tired of getting beat up in the world and coming home and getting eviscerated.
Mhm.
We can deal
Mhm.
with the world,
Mhm.
but the punches of the women we love, man, they hit the soul
Yeah.
and they
We have
cripple
a
the
we have
soul.
a we have a question in the chat. So Tiffany asked a question. So how do you cultivate that when you desire to be that safe space, but he's too hurt to receive it?
Tiffany, are you a doctor? Probably not. So I would say be very wary of going into a relationship thinking you can heal somebody. If somebody is too hurt to receive love, you have to, in my mind, I recommend setting out boundaries. Because if you go in and you keep giving, eventually, if that person isn't ready to receive that, if that person hasn't decided, hey, I have been hurt, they go through that healing process and they are ready to receive and move forward and step into the future, you're wasting your time and you'll end up it's like trying to save somebody.
Well,
It
it's
it
like
gets
I
frustrating.
said earlier too. It depends upon the situation
Right.
from my perspective. And it also, I'm not sure how deep, how far this relationship could possibly be or potentially. But one of the things at the onset of relationships that I have learned in maturity and over the years, and that is learning to have this conversation
Yeah.
and know as much not about who the person is now. And some people say it don't really matter to me what all went on past. I'm just concerned about right now. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
No, you need to know.
Yes.
You need to understand a
Yes.
person's past, who's hurt them, what they've been through. And this is what you have to unpack. And so I would say if there is potential in a relationship such as that, you first want to determine what you have the capacity to handle. Because you may not have the capacity to handle the time and the process is going to take for that person to come through. Or you may have the capacity, but you have to understand what that is. Because if the person's never had a safe space, they don't know what a safe
Yes.
space looks like or feels like. So at the end of the day, you can't retreat to that because that I'm a safe place and I want to be a safe space because if they've never had it, they don't know what it feels like. They don't know what it looks like. So it doesn't matter how you're trying, you're not going to immediately or even early on in the relationship be able to provide that. It's going to take some time, consistency to see for that person to see that you are a potential safe space because vulnerability is going to take a while. But at the end of the day, it takes conversations. You need to know about their past. You need to know about how they were raised. What are their values? What do they believe in? How do they feel about relationships? Because if you got an old school mentality type taught person, that's a whole lot. But an
Yeah.
old school mentality taught type person, that right there is going to be your first indicator that this is going to be a little bit of a ride.
And
Maybe a
so,
good guy, maybe,
yes.
loving and all of that, but that person is going to take a little minute for you to be able to get through. And conversations is the only way to do it. And observation. You got to
So
really pay attention.
I will add to that, and I love that, Miss Moody, is motive is the great justifier, right? A
Hmm.
lot of times in the situation you're describing, Tiff, we get enamored with the potential of a person, right? And so I'm big on service. So if I recognize somebody's hurt, it me personally, I'm like, okay, I need to switch gears because I care about you more. So me personally, I'm not dating anybody. I'm not if you don't believe in my savior, like I'm not even going out. We had that conversation last time. But so now I need to switch roles and say, okay, how can I best serve this person and help them to see, hey, listen, let's talk about this. You went through some stuff. How are you dealing with that? How can I help you? I may send you some scripture. I may, you know, but you got to be real careful because this is what popped in my head when you were speaking, Miss Moody.
Hmm.
Okay, I think I can go the long haul with this person. I can walk with them through this. And I've seen this happen. And I walk with them through it. The healing is occurring. You're seeing it. And
Hmm.
then they end up with somebody else. And then you like, hold up. I just put in all of this effort and energy because I saw a potential future, but
Hmm.
that person isn't tied to you.
Yeah.
That person does not have to go along with what you see in the future. That person
Hmm.
can say, thank you so much. You really helped me through that. But
Hmm.
Rachel over here with the dimples, Rachel with the dimple, Rachel with them dimples, that's where I'm going.
Hmm. Now, what's also true is what Tiffany just said, because when you recognize that, you know, yeah, this is just, yeah,
Boom.
this is not something that the maturity is there for me to cultivate, deal with, or it may be on the other side of you determine this is platonic. We can be friends. That's it.
Yes.
I'm here to talk. I'm here to share. Because sometimes it's not so much that you need to, you know, um, choke them with scripture, and not to say
Right,
that's what you meant, but I'm just saying because
right,
sometimes it needs to be a practical approach
right.
because you need to kind of prime the pump to see what you're
Yep.
working with.
Yes, ma'am.
you know and so
Definitely.
until you prime that pump and find out what you're working with, because oftentimes as women we take on relationships with men that are projects,
Yep.
and you have to be careful what project you choose because some are more advanced than others. if you ain't, and if you're not equipped, if you're not
Yeah.
equipped and you have the right tools mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, it will wear you down and out.
And in that
So,
time,
because
along with
men
that,
are
right?
tough, they're tough to crack. So if they have those
Yes.
layers like that, it is going to be difficult.
And
Now, when they
so,
come around, you
yeah.
done went on down the road 10 years
Yeah.
when they finally come around. But anyway,
10
I'm
though,
just,
a decade
I'm,
though.
I'm
But
oh
and
yeah,
and you have to consider, right, with everything you're saying, Miss Moody, I'm big on boundaries. You have to set realistic, healthy boundaries because
absolutely.
while you're here, you could be missing.
Hmm.
You could be missing, right? You could be
Yes,
missing out on a
absolutely.
whole lot going on around you. So it's a
Yeah,
balance. It's whew, don't
yeah,
don't take on PhD level work
yeah, yeah. It can
unnecessarily.
be.
Yeah,
Yeah,
seek
yeah,
God in everything because
yeah,
a lot of times we get so in love with the potential of a person.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. Absolutely. Now, this can also be true from the vernacular of a parent-child relationship.
100%,
So
100%.
that's the thing I want us to keep in mind as we're talking about relationship frustrations. It's relationship frustrations of all types and kind.
Yes, ma'am.
And you know, I've gone through
Let's
those
touch
seasons.
let's touch on that.
Hmm.
So there's a whole section in the book where Passive Man touches on this.
Hmm.
And I believe it's also in The Overly Independent Woman. Uh, I'm going to focus on the example I think people well, we could do both real quick. So a single mother and a son, right? There's frustration because you're a single parent for whatever reason. It doesn't matter how it comes to be, right? You're a single parent. And a lot of times you'll see single mothers lavish their sons and give them everything. And that's their baby boy and that's their sweetheart. He is 17 years old and he's still your baby and your sweetheart. And what's actually happening is you're stifling any ambition. And the example I use in the book is a cocoon. So
Hmm.
he's wrapped up as a kid. He needs to be in that cocoon so he can grow in strength, but he has to get out. But
Hmm.
you never let him out. So now you just raised a grown man that's going to expect this this successful career-oriented woman to treat him like his mother.
Absolutely.
But this woman is going to expect him to come in and fill in the gaps where they need to be filled because, hey, I'm not good at this. I
Hmm.
need you to do this. And he's like, my mama always did that.
Hmm.
And you will always that mother or that woman that he's dealing with will always be held to the standard of his mother. And she
Yes.
can never fill that standard.
Hmm.
And
It
a
happens
lot of
often.
times, the woman that man is dealing with will stay and they will work and they will fight for the relationship. If you're the only one fighting for your relationship, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah, it's it happens more often than not. It's a delicate balance, and I've seen things happen both ways where that single mother is so busy trying to provide that she's not there to even do the nurturing.
Yes.
So they just become wild, and there's no direction. Um, and then there's this scenario that you are describing as well. And so there's so many different directions that can go. And so it's a delicate balance. And so that's the reason why relationships are so important, because it's important for that single mother at that point in time to find a male, whether that's a friend or a family member, an uncle or a grandfather or someone that can help to harness that in a young man and to help provide structure. Um, and I'm thankful to God that I was a single mother for a short period of time, while my oldest son, had his grandfather. Um, that was delicate because at the end of the day, as women, we can't teach a boy how to be a man,
That right
and we
there.
have to we have to relinquish that, and we have to understand that perspective and what's needed and necessary in the early development, because it starts here and it starts also with what they see.
Mhm,
um
mhm, mhm.
and so it's a delicate balance, but it's definitely true. So these relationships intertwine as a result, right? And so when they're in these situations such as the I am gone narratives, so they don't have that mindset to speak back to that, or to share
Right.
the feelings, or to express, because at some point in time, sit this woman down and say, hey, we need to talk,
Mhm.
because you done said this, and this, you know, the last several weeks, and I need to understand what it is that's happening, that you feel like it's okay to say that to me, or it's okay for you. So we got these roles that we take on based on what somebody has taught us and what somebody has shown us and what someone else did in front of us or not, you know.
So
Um
something that jumps into mind, and I'm gonna say it. So, welcome to the podcast. If you just tuning in, right? The Satan is using Satan's whole the same old tricks, right? Deception,
Mhm. Kill, steal,
distraction,
and destroy.
make us feel we need something we don't.
Mhm.
So, one of the major attacks, Satan attacks the family. The society, the church goes as the family goes.
Absolutely.
This is why there's so many single parents and divorces and all this stuff. So the situation I just kind of referenced with the single mom and the son, I go
Mhm.
into, I go all the way to the right. I go from left to right with that. And I'm going to make a statement. It might offend some people, it might not. But when you have this young man or young men
Mhm.
that grow up with a single mother, they're the single mom's best friends are their biggest supporters. They're always with them. They go to the salon with them. They're in the car. They watch
Mhm.
Desperate Housewives and what's the other Basketball Wives and all this other crazy stuff. And then so they start to emulate their role models. And
Mhm.
then the little boy likes boys because that's what
Mhm.
his role models like. And then
Mhm.
homosexuality comes into the picture because that's
Mhm.
all he's ever seen. And Satan goes,
Mhm.
yes, I got another one. Because a
Mhm.
man who is outside of the order, a man is supposed to be with a woman, Adam and Eve.
Mhm.
Now you create this epidemic. And
Mhm.
now it has become okay. Like that is okay. It's accepted. And so you cannot be a man. You cannot walk in your purpose when you are
Mhm.
so warped in your mind where you think it doesn't even make sense scientifically, right? And then the other extreme. Now we have
Mhm.
people transitioning genders. What are we talking about? Your chromosomes still tell you who you are. You can't fight the DNA. But all these things play into each other, right?
Mhm.
Same thing with a young lady
Mhm.
being raised by a single mom or a single dad, right? Single mom raising a young lady gives her everything she wants, da 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 da. Now you just raised a diva. Well,
Mhm.
Cheesecake Factory, I think this was a meme going around or something. Cheesecake Factory, that's too cheap for me to eat dinner. Sweetheart, if I just met you, you should be happy you going to Cheesecake Factory because I need, first of all, I don't know what level restaurant you are worth taking to. That may sound harsh, but you think I'm taking you to a Ruth Chris $200 a plate restaurant and I just met you?
And you use the term I don't eat string beans. Okay. But anyway, I want to level set this by saying this. There are so many different levels to what you just described on both sides, men and women. And the same gender loving, the homosexuality, the whole nine, it comes from somewhere.
Yes.
And I will continue to say this. There are many different things, trauma, abuse, a whole lot of different things that play into this. I have said it. I will always say it. I don't love them any less
Right.
at all. But God never makes those kinds of mistakes.
No, he does not.
He's what you were born as gender is what God intended for you to be born as.
Yes.
If it was supposed to have been different, it would have been different. Did life have twists and turns that emotionally traumatized or whatever the case may be?
Absolutely.
I've seen too many scenarios. Now, granted, that doesn't make me an expert, but I am saying that 9 times out of 10, if you trace it back, something happened in the individual's life.
Yes, ma'am.
And 9 times out of 10, there's trauma of some nature.
Yes, ma'am. I agree. I actually did the research.
Every single time. I can promise you, you can find trauma in that person's life. Does it make them not a good person? Does it make the beautiful people, wonderful hearts? But they have been hurt. They've been traumatized. And somebody did not handle them
correctly, address it and heal and walk them through it's all relationships, Miss Moody. Life.
Mm-hmm.
It is all relationships. So now this poem can be applied to that too, because they are gone. They are hiding within, trying to make sense of this hurt. And especially as a child, it's like, why me? Why did this happen to me? And God, why did you allow this to happen to me? And God is sitting like, that's sin. That's evil. I don't want that for you. And so
and this is what I say. I've had to say this to family members. I love you. It does not matter, but God has never been confused. And he ain't started being confused. He will never be confused. Okay. So that's my take on it. That's my sermon, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna stick to it. But it's trauma, and it goes back to relationships. And what the devil tries to do is to make people, whether they're alcoholics, whether they're drug addicts, whether it's homosexuality, whether it's being promiscuous, whatever it is, whatever your ailment is, whatever your issue is, what the enemy wants people to believe is that their family or people that they really want to love them do not, that they don't love them, they don't receive them, they don't accept them, because he wants you, gangs, he wants you to believe that these are the people that care about you, these are the people that love on you, these are the people that are there for you, these are the people that support you. And so it pulls you in. It's a trick of the enemy. It's a trick of the enemy. And so when he gets us here, then he gets us here. Right? And then he gets our soul, because we begin to believe it. And as family, as relationships, family relationships, as parent relationships, as all of these relationships, when we fall into the trap and we become so super spiritual that we can't see what the enemy's trying to do, and we X them out and we excommunicate, then we sent you right out here to the wolves. We sent them out to the wolves. And it's something we have to take note of. And I don't care, I don't care how many scriptures you know. I don't care how many. I'm serious. I don't care. I don't care how deep you are in shallow water. I don't care how filled you are with the Holy Ghost. When we cannot love with the love of God, we're just as much a part of the process of them being alienated and sent to the wolves as anything else, or the trauma that catapulted them there. We got about 4 minutes. This has been awesome. Awesome, awesome. And I knew that this was going to
Thanks,
open
Ren.
up. Yes, Ren. Um, this was going to open up so many things because it can be if a child is gone, if
Yes.
if a son is gone, if a daughter is gone, and they may not be gone, but they may be, it may be a relationship, a wayward relationship. It may be homosexuality. It may be, stripping. It may be, um,
Anything.
a pimp, whatever. It could be a whole lot of different things.
So,
But as parents, what are we saying? As women, what are we saying? As mothers, what are we saying? Right? As a brother or a sister, how are we handle? And sometimes, it gets to places where you have to allow people space
yeah,
to deal with themselves.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, if they know that there's a place where love abides, and there's a way, you have to learn how to love people and love them from a distance sometimes. Yes,
so
sir.
I think of the prodigal son, because if you're praying for them, if you're loving, if you're open, and they come
Mhm.
back,
Yeah.
the question shouldn't be, where have you been? Have you
Right.
changed yet? Have
Yep.
you?
Yep.
It should just be
Hmm.
this.
Yep. Embrace.
Bring it in. Bring it
Yep.
in. Hey, yo, start the
Absolutely.
grill. Let's
Yep.
cook. Bring it in, right?
Let's get this grill fired up. Let's have
Oh,
some victuals. You understand?
yeah, yeah. Whew.
Yeah, been there, done it,
This is
and
so
and it
much.
yes, it happens with maturation though, and so we have to
Yes.
help each other. And I think it's these kind of healthy relationship conversations that we need to have on a more consistent basis. We need to have them in our homes. We need to have them in our circles. And I'm telling you, you can love people back to the fold. I'm telling you, people get
Yes.
delivered all the time, every day. So it is never beyond God. We have to
Look,
always be open and willing to have the conversation.
I am putting
Awesome,
something in the
awesome,
chat.
awesome. Thank you guys so much for your engagement tonight. This was amazing. This was amazing. Um, yeah, we gotta
So,
we gotta exemplify the love of Christ, and we gotta do it on a daily basis, and we have to embrace that. We have to wear it,
so
embody it.
for everyone out there, the intent of the book, Engineered Muse, is this right here. The poem I read is one of the poems in the book, but the book, I said it before, I don't have the answers. What I do know is we need to speak more about relationships. We need to talk about it so we can figure out what we're doing. If you look in the Bible, you'll see Paul and all those guys. They would go sit at Mars Hills and talk with the philosophers and all these Gnostics, and they talk about
Hmm.
God, and a lot of those people got saved. They talked about
Hmm.
their faith,
Hmm.
right? So they strengthened themselves in their speaking, and then they were able to share with others. We have to talk about our relationships with the people we're in relationship with.
Hmm.
Otherwise, how else do you know, hey, we're aligned, or I'm misunderstanding you, or what do you need, Miss Moody? If I never
Hmm.
talk to you, how can I be in a relationship with you?
Absolutely,
I won't know what you
absolutely,
need.
absolutely.
So let's have these conversations more and more, offline, on podcasts, wherever. Let's have them.
Absolutely. And in between the conversations, let's pay attention
Okay.
to the subjects for which are a point of interest for our heart, or a point of interest for to whom we want to dialogue with. And that's our investment into them. Because sometimes observation is one of the key things. And when you just miss it, when you don't even pay attention.
Yeah.
So observe and behold, and it'll sometimes spark the right conversation. So here again, awesome project, Engineered Muse. I don't know if I need to have you do another excerpt. I don't know, because it may take us down a whole nother. But
Yeah.
anyway, tell them how they can get it. Tell them, what's happening for people that'll watch this in your region, what's coming up, what's happening the next weekend, as a matter of
Next
fact.
week.
So
Next
yeah.
weekend. Oh, yeah. Next. Oof.
How can they connect with you,
So
contact you, purchase the book?
everyone, so I just put in the chat the website to the book. www.jamalbazil, that is JAHMALBAZIL.com. On that website, you can, of course, pre-order the book. When you pre-order the book, you get the first section of the book and a special poem that comes along with it. On the same website, you can also send me messages. And I will receive them via email and I'll respond. You can send questions from the podcast if you just watched it. You can send comments or even topics you would like to discuss or have us discuss and you guys be a part of. So we are definitely open for all of that.
Absolutely.
Coming soon, there'll be some more options. I'll be offering some other services as far as speaking and even as Miss Moody calls it, poetic concierge. So I'll be writing poems upon request for
Yes.
different special occasions and things of that nature. So that's coming soon. Next weekend, Miss Moody alluded to, I'll be having a book signing at Fin and Tonic, which is in Suffolk, Virginia. That's right. Fin and Tonic is a wonderful restaurant, great food. The vibe is amazing, but there's a special addition to it. So I will be, of course, reading some excerpts from the book, but I also have some other poets that will come and do a couple pieces. So it's kind of a poetic lounge type of vibe. Sit down, grab some food. You can purchase the book there as well, and I'll hand it right to you with a signature on it if you so choose. So come, have a good time, ask questions about the book, ask questions in general, and on top of that, there's even more icing on the cake. Miss Moody will be there, and she has opened herself up to have conversations for the entrepreneurs out there. Miss Moody is a coach, counselor, transformative. You have a vision, she'll help you paint the masterpiece. She does it all, right? So, and can I say this? Normally, this costs you some money
Yes.
to get some time with Miss Moody, right? Because
Yes, it does.
she is renowned. And because we cool like that, she's giving it to you for free for 2 hours. You got a 2-hour window where you can come and share a vision that you have. She'll give you some advice and she'll offer you her services because this wouldn't have happened without Miss Moody. I'm telling you right now, I would have still been trying to figure out how to publish this book. So that's all we have. Any questions, comments, concerns, of course, you can hit me up on my website. You can
Make sure
leave
you
a
did
comment.
hit. I don't see it in the chat, Jamal. Did you hit send on that?
Yes,
Did
ma'am.
it go? Okay. It
It's
wasn't
okay.
showing on. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. I wasn't
But
seeing it over
also,
here, so I was just making sure.
you can leave comments here too. Even if you
Yeah.
come back and watch this later, you can leave
Yes.
comments. Y'all
Absolutely.
can like this. I just like the stream. Y'all can go ahead and like it. But yeah, definitely appreciate all of the conversation and the interaction tonight. Until the next
Absolutely.
one.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll be back next Tuesday. This will be session number 4 coming up next Tuesday. And who knows, we may do something live while I'm in the city for that period of time. We'll see. And if so, we'll
We'll get it
we'll
out.
go live and we'll let you guys know and you can chime in. So here again, if you didn't get a chance, you came in late and you didn't get a chance to share it, or you come back and you watch the replay of this and you know that this is a conversation that would definitely be a blessing to somebody, or they just need to hear it, then definitely, Jamal, before we leave, you'll need to give the date and time. You gave the location, but date and time. And definitely, okay, definitely share this with someone. It's nothing but love here. And here again, our whole perspective is have the conversation. Some people just need to be heard. They just want you to listen. So and hear their perspective, hear their heart, and let how they feel be a priority and be important. Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Until the next time, same
Same
place.
place.
We'll be right back here for Tuesday Motivation